Today I'm going to talk about something that happened on February 19th, 1942, and it was called If Day. If Day was a day to indicate what would happen if the Germans won the war. By that date, in 1942, we had many troops in Europe, but the people in Canada were complacent. The war was a long ways off, and they really didn't know how it might affect them. If Day was done to show them what might happen if the Germans won the war. During If Day, Canadian soldiers were dressed in German uniforms. Canadian planes were painted with swastikas, and so were Canadian armored vehicles. At the start of the day, planes came from the north and attacked Manitoba. They bombed Winnipeg, the bridges, took out the bridges, and troops advanced throughout Manitoba into Winnipeg, and they battled the existing forces in Winnipeg until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. At that time, a surrender was declared, and the Germans arrested the mayor, the premier of the province, and put them in prison. They burned books, they rang up the swastika flag, and took kids out of school, and did a lot of things to indicate what the next year was going to be like. The If Day was done at the end of the day, and everything returned to normal. The bombing of bridges were, of course, in a pretend basis, but they piled scrap on the bridges to show that they had been damaged. I think from this experience, Canada learned that things were bad overseas and would be bad on us if the Germans won. It was one of their publicity stunts, like the posters and so on, but this one, because it would be in newsreels, shown in movie theaters, it brings it home a lot more than seeing the printed word, especially for the people in Winnipeg. In Winnipeg, the advertising was a lot to warn the people that this was going to happen, but in 1942, a lot of people didn't have radios. They didn't have newspapers. So there were a number of cases where people saw the Germans on the streets and thought that the end had happened. Nobody was hurt in the filming. It's amazing that nobody was seriously hurt. But there was no accidents, and the filming went on without any problems.
Vor uns liegt Deutschland, in uns marschiert Deutschland und hinter